All right, what's up, everybody? This is Spooky.
Tasty Steve, you know what it is.
Yeah, we're here to talk to you a little bit about the new patch that came out for Tekken 8 recently. And this one is major because although a lot of characters are not impacted, there are a couple of meta characters that are very popular at the high level. And also, we've reached the end of most of the Masters events.
Yeah.
There's not any Challengers events left. There's no dojos left.
True.
It's pretty much just the finals. So this particular patch has a major impact in that it's going to affect the best players in the world. So we have 3 characters that are majorly changed.
Okay.
And the first one that we're going to talk about is Alisa. And Alisa is one of the most popular characters at the high level. In fact, you find a lot of players that have the 1-2 punch of Alisa and Ling Xiaoyu, and that's the 2 characters that they like to play together. And both these characters have similarities. They're quick, they're evasive, and they have the potential for explosive damage when they pick the right moments. So what they chosen the most to change about Alisa here is her damage, which is the thing that is the most annoying and the most powerful, as well as her comeback.
You know, I'm glad that you said this because one of the characters that I feel like definitely kind of gets I will say slept on in the sense that gets away with a lot of fraudulent stuff is Alisa, bro. Destruction stance is a very big thing that you have to worry about. A lot of people, I feel like, really find it hard to deal with her while she's in the destruction stance. And it's really easy for her, like you said, to get a lot of damage, run away with the momentum. And on top of that, she has some very strong moves while she was in destruction stance too, which they kind of touched on with this update and Alisa.
True. Now, one thing to really point out, if you saw Alisa in Tekken 7, and you see Alisa now in Tekken 8, you might have noticed that, okay, Alisa was also strong in Tekken 7, but the destructive stance itself was not as oppressive as it is in Tekken 8.
It was definitely not.
Yeah,
It was definitely
the reason why it's so powerful in Tekken 8, which you might not realize, is that she has full movement during destructive stance now. So she can for real dash up to you if she wants to. She can back dash. She can even sidestep a little bit. It's not the same movement as she has during neutral, but it's enough movement that now she can create actual block strings and traps with the destructive force. And she also has the auto sidestep in it that's strong too.
And she has a lot of her range, man. Since she moves around so much, she has a bunch of lunging moves, the chainsaw destruction stance move as well, the movement, the auto movement on top of it, and just great pokes overall, which made her kit really strong. So it really does make sense. What is it? 4-2-1, 4-2-1 that they actually attach. Yes. So this move is actually very strong. You see a lot of Alisas use it as a punishment tool as well. But the thing is that what was it? -10 at first,
it was
and
only
it pushed back mad far. What you pointed out, you was like, man, look how far
it has really good
this pushes back. But what they did now, they changed it from -10 to -12, which means you can get more of a universal punish on it with your characters, but even more so, just the range control that you have as well. Because we talked about destruction stance, how easy it is to get damage, and they've even talked about it. They was like, man, it made it really easy for her to streamline her destruction stance kind of stance and just her offense. So making this move punishable kind of gives you a gap in her game plan and her meta that gives you an opportunity, especially if which still holds the Tekken-esque surprise to it, right? If you see this move, you're like, yo, these are chainsaws. What am I about to do? And -10 is only jabs.
Yes.
Now you get an actual -12 punish.
Yeah, you also mentioned, and I mentioned this too, the distance. So there is a range where your jab punish might not reach too effectively on this move, versus a lot of characters have a 12-frame punish where this forward 4, see, as really stepping into that forward 4 before it comes out. That's pretty common amongst a lot of characters, 12-frame punishes. So that'll be a good way to help them out and help them get in, help them punish this. Now, I still think that it would be more interesting if they had changed around the destructive stance itself. We see, like I said, mostly damage nerfs. The down 4 got a small damage nerf. The 4-1+2 got a small damage nerf in destructive stance. But they didn't really nerf any of the frame data or the movement. I think it would have been more interesting if they made her backdash in destructive have way extra recovery, so it's easier to punish. Really or if she did the auto side, she has that great auto side step move. I think that would have been a better move to hit and make worse on block. That's a move that to me is so good that you almost want that to be -14 or launch punish, something like that. But I still think that this is an interesting and good change. And it's in the right direction of making Alisa still really powerful while giving you at least one counter to her major tools.
Yeah, completely agree. I still feel like the character's going to be really strong no matter what. You just got to be a little more careful when it comes to running your offense in this game, which, what I'm saying, a lot of people tell you right now, man, the offense in this game is scary. Alisa, one of the characters that has definitely been impacted by it, not to the biggest degree, but it is something that you have to keep in the back of your head, especially if you're fighting this character, and especially if you're fighting an Alisa that goes into destruction stance quite a bit. You now have an opportunity to stop the pressure.
What's up, everyone? I would like to remind you that the best way to support the Team Spooky channel is to like, comment, subscribe, and check out the videos all the way through. But you can also support us monetarily and directly by checking out the amazing licensed merchandise that we have at merch.10-0.gg, including these really awesome Tekken designs. One of them I'm going to show to you right now, which is the amazing design Fist Meets Fate. All right, this one is an original design by Mattis Mao, and it's got a very amazing two-sided approach as well as some awesome sleeves. This is the great back, which is really representing the generational conflict between the Mishimas on all the family throughout Tekken 8. On the front, it's got a very cool logo of the two fists together, Fist Meets Fate. And on the side and on the sleeves, as you can see, it's got a very cool design as well, showing off the chain link. It makes me think of the heat system in Tekken 8. Very awesome. And one more time, check it out at merch.10-0.gg. The next one is one of the characters that also has been all over the meta at the high level. He's very popular in tournament. The stream monsters all cry the minute this character shows up, especially if it's a mirror match. It's Dragunov.
Yes.
And they said in the Dragunov, adjustments were made to suppress the performance of some of Dragunov's overly powerful moves. Now, notice they said that because I actually kind of have a beef for what they said here, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a little bit, all right? So first off, first change, that's a big one, is the down 2, which is one of his better lows. It's not the best low he actually has, but it's one of the better lows. It's nerfed by 3 damage, so from 17 damage to 14 damage.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense because, once again, I feel like this is a character from 7 to 8. His lows got so much better. And it definitely affected like the meta of the game where it comes to like running the gameplay to being like, hey, how do you deal with crouch dash 1? How do you deal with QCF 4? Like these are moves that you really need to pay attention to stop Dragunov from actually getting into his gameplay. But those are some of the key moves that they hit. On top of that, back 4-3 is another move that they actually touch from Dragunov because once again, the move is tracking like crazy. They really need to make sure that, you know, once you're sidestepping up close, which is something that they've kind of adjusted throughout the game's lifespan already, is being able to sidestep like certain strings a lot better. But more specifically down to his low game, I feel like has kind of expanded in Tekken 8. Crouch dash 1 being one of them, and just a guessing game dealing with pressure, doing heat dash, QCF 4, and now he's got like these prominent lows now that you really need to pay attention to. So he's not really lacking when it comes to like damage and having like strong lows. That's why this isn't the worst thing to happen. However, this does make me remember in Tekken 7 when they nerfed down 2, like the character just failed. Like everybody's like, bro, what am I supposed to do now? Down 2's gone. It's not as good, but in this game, it's not as bad because he still does have other options. But down 2 getting a damage nerf, not the worst thing to happen to the character.
It's a good nerf, I think.
I do too.
He still has the full crouch 1. If anything, if it was me, I wouldn't even touch down 2. I would have left that move alone because I think that move, it's a good low. But I actually think down 2 is a fair low. I think that low is fair.
I do. I think it's fair now.
If I have to pick the low that I would have nerfed, it would have been definitely full crouch 1. Full crouch down for 1. That low is obviously really good. It gives him a whole full crouch game that he didn't have before, right? And now it makes the shoulder so much better too, because when you start getting scared of the full crouch down for 1, guess what? He's got a mid that knocks you down. It's only 12 frames, I believe, from crouch. So it's really fast. It punishes lots of lows and stuff too. And the shoulder, if you notice, became so much better. It was already an amazing move. It became so much better from crouch, and it's because he has full crouch down for 1.
And the thing is, he's always had it. It's just, it became more prominent. Like in the later half of Tekken 7, you start to see more people punish with a Raw Riser 1+2, if I'm not mistaken. That's the input for the shoulder for Dragunov. But now you see it like even more so because it's just such a good tool to look at. So, I mean, once again, it's a good thing to have in there. And another one is back 4-3, like we said before. You saw a lot of people, a lot of times they would fight Dragunov. They would try to sidestep back 4-3, hitting them all over the map, no matter where they were at. So this kind of, you know, puts down, you know, the human scaling on Dragunov. If all the things that we've already listed has already made this character a lot more bearable to deal with. Not, I wouldn't say not as good. I just feel like they fixed him. They didn't nerf him. These aren't, you know, nerfs, I feel like. These are fixes. Some of this stuff is, in my eyes, not supposed to be working this way anyway.
Ridiculously good. So we come into the last move, and this is the one that I think is the most interesting as a change, because I think that the Bandai Namco team perceives this as a nerf, right? But if I look at this, I actually think this is not a nerf. This is maybe an accidental buff. And it's the quarter circle forward 4 from Sneak. So if you remember, the first nerf of this move was they gave it heavy pushback on block and heavy pushback on knockdown. And that's because they didn't want you to hit this move and then continue to pressure the opponent. That was part of the point. The move was so good
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
hitting you should have meant close to the end of his turn, or you getting up, right? And then him mixing you from that get up. Now, because on normal hit, he's +8 and he's so close to you, this sets up really a new level of chaos and havoc that he can do to you. And also the fact that it doesn't knock you down sideways anymore either, which we've seen a little bit of, means that he has a lot of new sideways tricks he can do with this QCF4, force you to crouch and get more or less guaranteed mix and sometimes even guaranteed damage afterwards.
You know, and once again, like I agree. I definitely agree with the fact that like this move it's not really a nerf. It's like it's a fix. But also I think it still really does fit. I might not think it is as crazy as you, but I do think it really does fit into his kit, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm going to force you to try to either move out of the way and deal with my quick pokes. This is where down 4-1 is really going to come in now because it doesn't knock you down. It just makes you stay in the same spot. But also the pressure that Dragunov is going to get off of this really kind of puts him right back to all right, what am I going to do after this? Keeps him honest, obviously, because once again, you're not getting that knockdown. On the wall, it changes everything. And it makes it, especially with the most recent patch, where it made it a lot more sidesteppable. This also makes this move a lot more something that's tempered to fit within the system to make a lot more sense. But we've already started seeing people start to take advantage of this, right? But this, to me, feels like this puts Dragunov back in the pace that I feel like he actually deserves to be in when it comes to controlling the speed, right?
Gotcha.
Like he doesn't get the knockdown and then run up on you, then do it again. Then you got to worry about the load, then the crouch dash one. Like this puts him to a slower pace. He doesn't get that knockdown. He doesn't get that pressure. And it kind of keeps the neutral a little more intact. So it forces Dragunov to play that neutral a little more, even though it's not like it's horrible.
Understood. Anyway, I think this QCF4 change is the most interesting because, like I said, I'm sure that Bandai perceives this as an immediate, like a direct nerf on the character. But I'm still not sure, really. You've seen the clip, you've seen a little bit of what it looks like. And the last character that we're going to talk about a little bit is going to be the newest character, Heihachi Mishima, who was recently added to the game. And this is what they have to say. They say, in addition to fixing unintended behaviors, Heihachi underwent balance adjustments to address the issue of excessively high combo damage.
My man crap damage, bro, which makes sense. He's the old man. He's Heihachi. He's the king of the Iron Fist. But if you've labbed him at all, which I labbed him a little bit, I got like a 4 or 5 day Heihachi. My man takes off mad damage, but they've already started to kind of like approach and mess with Heihachi so he won't be as buff. They mess with his jab a little bit, apparently, like it had like a hanging recovery. But one of the most important things was they changed the tech rolling options, the Ukami options, off of after a combo with Heihachi, which led to huge damage output, particularly where you would end with down 3-2, where you would get big damage on the tail end because you would get the grounded hit and the follow-up grounded hit after it. But the thing is about it is that, like, even if you didn't do it in the combo, it was a freezing, like, move. Like, you would hit down 3-2 and it was like the screen would shake. Like, you couldn't really move. But it will also add mad damage to it. Now they fixed it so you actually have the opportunity to tech roll on it. The down 3 won't be as strong. And on top of that, apparently, it's probably not even the best option anymore. So you potentially get even more damage not using down 3-2 in some of these stages as opposed to what it used to be. But this is a step in the right direction. I know a lot of the top players out there, the JDCRs, the Jokers, they say the Heihachis are a little more difficult to use, especially in a game like Tekken 8 where it's more about offensive and Heihachi requires a little bit more, which he's always been, like you said before. So this is a really good change too. I feel like, once again, it's not a nerf, it's a fix. Because once again, my man took off way too much damage and he still takes off a lot of damage even with the change to that. So
true. So with the down 3-2 being nerfed, again, he's losing an ender to his potential combos, as you said. But there are other enders that he can utilize that maybe do a little bit less damage, but still are going to give him the good OP ones. So he's going to be a good spot regardless. Now, before we go, there's one little thing at the end of this that I want to talk about that I noticed here. And it has to do with an overall change to unintended behaviors. So here with the Warrior Instinct, this has been a problem since the beginning of the game, since the beginning of Tekken 8. When you activate Heat with certain stage gimmicks, he still gets the Warrior Instinct power-up. Now, that's a huge deal because currently in-game, almost every character that has a power-up does not get this. So let's say you were about to get Starburst with Claudio, but you broke a wall or something like that. Guess what? You actually don't get Starburst for that.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. They just go down. You keep continuing the combo. And the same thing for anybody else. Pretty sure that Asuka has the same problem where she can't get the Naniwa Gusto if she gets a wall combo, that type of thing, right? So seeing that they found a way to fix this for Heihachi gives me hope that they're going to find a way to fix the same problem for every other character that has some type of install that they can't get during a war break.
Well, I mean, and that's a very good thing to put it to notice, right? To let people know this is like a new system for Tekken, right? So obviously, like, they're ironing out these kinks, and the thing is that, like, there's so many different things that, like, the different characters can do. Heihachi being the perfect example. I mean, we're on the third nerf / fix of Dragunov, and this move still might be really good. So we're definitely in that spot of the game's lifespan where, look, there's going to be a lot of changes still to the game. Heihachi's new DLC, he did a lot of damage. Let's fix it. But like you said before, some of these changes, just to go back to like Dragunov for that QCF4, that's going to be a really big thing. I want to see what that does to the meta and a lot of the Dragunov players out there. How are they going to change up their game plan? Do they still have this move in their kit? I obviously feel like they do, but how does that affect the overall meta? I mean, and then the Alisa change as well. Obviously, this makes the character a little more approachable defensively, but still, are you going to have the wherewithal to know that? Are you going to be aware that this is now a 12-frame punish? And is the Alisa player going to switch it up? Will they add more stuff to it? The structure staying still is really strong. So
yeah, true. So overall, these changes don't really, it's not like a change where they're nerfing someone into the ground. This is not like what they did to Fakuram at the end of Tekken 7.
Yeah,
this is more like a slow, like they're giving you a couple more options to fight these characters, but still these characters are all extremely strong. Now, suspiciously, there are a few characters that the community has noticed that are missing from this change list. The number one is Nina, that only got pretty much a fix. She didn't get any nerfs or any changes. She did get a little bit nerfed in the previous patch, but they've kind of left her alone since then, so that's pretty notable. The next one, this is the one that's the most notable to me, because even players of this character are for real kneeling down and waiting for the nerfs at any time, and it's Yoshimitsu. Every patch comes along, and even the Yoshimitsu players are already like, all right, well, it's been a good run, guys. I'm pretty sure I'm about to get nerfed, but, you know, it's been fun. And that's for real how Yoshimitsu players talk. And then each patch comes along, and guess what? Yoshimitsu either gets like a minor, like incremental buff, or he just gets left alone. So I guess Yoshimitsu, if I have to look at it, Yoshimitsu to me is the bar they're looking for in Tekken, because the fact is they're not bringing him down, they're leaving him there. They want every character to be around the power level of Yoshimitsu. That's my guess. And you can see that with these changes too. With Dragunov, if it was me, there's at least 5 moves I would have hit before I hit these 3 moves, other than the QCF4. That one's really good, right? But you see the moves they chose are like they give you some incremental advantage against Dragunov, but they're either not his best moves or they're nerfed in a way where the move is still one of his best moves. In the case of the QCF4, it's still an amazing move. So I think overall, clearly they want Dragunov to be good, and they want him to be probably about as good as Yoshimitsu is right now. The same with Alisa. The fact that only the forward 2-1 got a frame data nerf says to me they want her to be good. Yeah, they nerfed her damage a little bit, but her frame data is almost all exactly the same, which is for her the best thing that can happen. She wants her good frame data. All right, guys, so the Tekken World Tour Finals is coming soon. I'm pretty sure this is the last major patch we're going to get until the finals. So this is our balance. You know, like it or not, love it or hate it. Let us know what you think about the characters overall. If your character got changed around, maybe you're happier about your character because you can deal with Dragunov a little bit better now, that type of thing. Let us know what you think, everybody. Have a beautiful day, and look for more content of Steve on the channel soon as well, because he's been working on a lot of videos for you guys.
And remember to like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you guys support the boy Team Spooky. This is why I'm here. And on top of that, we like making these videos for you guys. So make sure you come back and join us and get notified when the next video goes live. Until next time, peace.
Peace.